Hello, everyone. Good morning and afternoon, and welcome to the webinar today. Let's wait for a few more seconds till all the attendees walk in. I think we shall start. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jatin, and I am the North America Marketing Manager for Kelton Tech. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today on how to prepare for SAP S4HANA upgrade. But before we get started, I need to go over a little bit of housekeeping. Should you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the Q&A section of your control panel, and we will address them at the end of the webinar. If we do not have the time to respond to your questions live, we will respond to them via email. As a reminder, this session is being recorded. We will also be sending a link to the recording and the slide deck in the next few days. But before we get started on today's topic, I would like to provide you with a brief corporate overview. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah, thanks, Ramesh. So Kelton Tech has been a pioneer of digital transformation for the past decade with operations in North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. Our clients range from startups to Fortune 500 companies with the core strength supported through our ISO 9001 certification and CMMI Level 5 compliance. We are 1,500 plus employees strong and are a publicly traded company. Kelton Tech is a new age global IT services consulting company. We design, develop, and operate digital technologies that create new business models for our clients. Next slide, please. Our digital services cross three major pillars. Digital transformation. Our digital services portfolio include digital commerce and marketing, enterprise mobility, digital governance, big data and analytics, software R&D, and outsourced co-product development. Digital integration provides integration services in support of your digital systems by providing focus services on API strategy and management, IoT integration, enterprise integration, and OT/IT integration. Digital enterprises enable intelligent enterprises by leveraging end-to-end SAP solutions as an SAP Gold partner with the core expertise in ERP, PLM, CRMs, and SCM implementations. Next slide, please. I am honored to have with me today Dr. Srinivas Bandi and Ramesh Srinivasan. Dr. Bandi has deep expertise in SAP roadmap consulting, SAP best practices, and SAP standard processes. A doctorate in business studies, Dr. Bandi has vast experience demonstrating SAP S4HANA capabilities and addressing unique business requirements via delivering prototypes and helping clients draw maximum business value from their SAP investments in a relatively short time. Ramesh brings to Kelton Tech over 13 plus years of experience of progressive IT consulting with expertise in SAP technology. As a seasoned domain expert, he has a demonstrated history of SAP S4HANA COE, solution design and architect, delivery and QA testing, SAP cloud migrations, and mission critical enterprise solutions to complex problems. Now I will hand over to Ramesh to begin our official webinar discussion on how to prepare for SAP S4HANA upgrade. Over to you, Ramesh.
Thank you, Jatin. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you once again for joining this session. So objective of this session is basically to give you an overview of upgrading S4HANA. Those who are already on S4HANA earlier releases. What does it mean to upgrade? Why we should upgrade? Okay, or what are the things that you need to understand and consider before you get into an upgrade project. So just to set the agenda, we'll just talk briefly about what is S4HANA, what are the critical components, what are the different things involved in S4HANA product deployment, and also talk about a background about the topic that we are in today, and what is the motivation to upgrade, why should you upgrade. Okay, and then we'll also talk about the different types of upgrade, whether people talk about a technical upgrade or a functional upgrade or adding new components, etc. So what does it mean? okay, and what is suitable, what is the kind of approach that you can look at. We'll also talk a little bit about what type of resources are available. Before you start your upgrade project, what are the things that you can leverage to actually plan better, and also kind of identify what are the kind of requirements and how to plan them. Impact areas and dependencies. Uh, Typically, most customers run the SAP systems for a number of years. So there are certain dependencies from a technical standpoint and also from a business standpoint. We need to understand what are the impact areas for upgrade, what can be kind of causing difficulties, or maybe which will require more time, which will require less time, kind of. And what are the best practices for upgrade? What are the things that we need to consider, and how can you make it a smooth upgrade? And we'll close with a summary. We'll have a question and answer session at the end. Any questions, you please type it in and we will take it towards the end of the session. So I would like to start the session with an S4 HANA overview. I'm assuming that almost all of you are already running S4 HANA, and that is why you're here, to understand more about the upgrade process and what it means. So primarily, this is a digital core that SAP has transformed from the earlier ECC kind of a product stack. So this involves a lot of improvements. Also, it involves certain application specific innovations, and it provides an integrated end-to-end process, okay, across various components, across various functionalities and modules. So that's one of the basic and core requirement of any ERP. So S4 HANA has integrated most of the business application processes within the digital core. So end-to-end business process is what we call. And then new user experience. Okay, many customers have probably have a long usage of ECC, so they're all used to the traditional GUI-based applications. And S4 HANA, one of the main advantages is the new user experience. Predominantly, all the new functionalities are delivered through Fiori UX, and that's one of the major changes and also the major advantages of using S4 HANA. This is one of the next important topics that we need to look at: how efficiently it is used, and also how you can leverage it going forward. Intelligent processes, primarily with more and more advanced, kind of functionalities coming in. SAP is also integrating the product with some of the cloud platform features where you can use artificial intelligence and machine language. So this is again making the process more intelligent, like for example, some automatic processing of invoices or certain automatic other processing. So those are also being extended into the newer versions of S4 HANA. So that's one of the areas where S4 HANA plays a role. And embedded analytics, again, there are a lot of analytical processes that are possible in S4 HANA because of the underlying platform. We have the HANA database, and then embedded analytics can be configured or set up in your system so that you can do away with some of the routine BW type of processing. We can do predictive analytics, and we can also do a lot of data insights from the S4 HANA system itself. So these are some of the major pillars, I would say, in terms of the benefits of S4 HANA as a product portfolio perspective. So I'm sure those who are already running S4 HANA, some of these you would have already experienced, and some of these you may not be using it because of probably it has limitations in the version that you're running, or it may not be, certain features may not be available, or certain features may be limited in functionality. So we will see some of the details about this also going forward. What is the kind of benefit, or what is the kind of impact you can derive by doing an upgrade? So this is again, basically it's available in 25 country industries and 39 languages and 64 countries. So there are embedded functions available. You don't have to implement different versions for each of these. If you are going to look at a particular industry solution, these come built into the S4 HANA and you can leverage it by implementing the same. So I'll move on to the next slide. We'll talk a little bit about the deployment options. When we talk about S4 HANA, there is a lot of information that is going on right now. SAP has got a lot of push on the cloud version, and then we talk about the on-premise. So I'm assuming most of you are on the on-premise versions, and we are going to focus today's topic on the S4 HANA on-premise, because in the on-premise version only, upgrading the system is left to the customer's choice. So you can decide when and how you want to upgrade your system. So there are two variants here. We talk about the on-premise version, which predominantly most of you will be using, and the S4 HANA cloud version, which is typically controlled by controlled by SAP, and they will do the management of the application upgrades and making the new functionalities available automatically. So these are the two variants, and as I said, we will be focusing more on the S4 HANA on-premise. There can be some hybrid scenarios. Some customers may be having on-premise version for certain functionalities and cloud version for some other functionalities or maybe some limited functions. But our focus is on the how do we upgrade S4 HANA on-premise from one version to another. So in terms of terminology, SAP also keeps changing it quite often. Now they call it as S4 HANA any premise. Earlier it used to be called as on-premise, but both are used interchangeably. Just to give a very quick background on the evolution of S4 HANA, this is very important for us to understand, because uh, when we say upgrade, what does it really mean, and how are these the product versions deployed, and how are they released? So in the next couple of slides, we are going to talk about what are the versions, what do they really mean, and how the SAP release strategy is, so that you understand how you can think about upgrade and how to plan for an upgrade. So the lower part of it are the older technologies. You have the ECC, R3 ECC, etc. Then of course you had the ECC on HANADB, okay, and then you had the HANADB itself, and then ECC on HANADB. So these are the typical ECC and ERP systems. You you would have transitioned into the S4 HANA Digital Core. That is the first release that SAP released on S4 HANA. From the on-premise version perspective, it is 15.11. On the top, you see the kind of version changes that have happened. Then, of course, slowly they migrated the application to include intelligent ERP. That means some of the automation features, artificial intelligence, etc. So it kept evolving over a period of time. The first release was 15.11, which is in 2015. Then 16.10, 2016, 17.09, 18.09, 19.09, 2020, and then 2021 is expected this year. So these are the releases of S4 HANA on-premise. So there is a major release given by SAP every year. So one per year is the primary product release. Okay, this is the improved product with new functionalities, with a lot of enhancements, with the innovations, etc. And then they also give, once the product is released, how are you going to keep updated with this? It may not be possible for each customer to upgrade every year. Practically, it doesn't make sense. So how you can, at least to a certain number of quarters or a period, how can you keep your system updated to a certain level? There is a feature pack stack. Okay, so feature pack stack is basically a combination of few innovations, few additional functionalities and components released by SAP for the primary release. For example, if you are currently on 16.10, okay, there will be an FPS which is released in that particular year, and they actually provide some additional functionalities. Then, of course, you follow with the support pack stack. just like your ECC support pack stack, typically they give twice a year. Okay, the period is not fixed, that can change sometimes depending on the product. They may give 2 or 3 in a year, and that will go on till end of the maintenance period for that particular version. So this is how the product has evolved and how SAP releases the additional functionalities, but some of the major functionality differences will come only in the next release. Okay, so that is the reason, one of the reasons why you may have to upgrade over a period of time if you want to leverage some of the uh, very advanced and new kind of functionalities that are not available in the previous systems. So I'll talk a little bit about the maintenance strategy here. This is important to understand. Many customers ask, how do I know what is the kind of a release plan by SAP? How I can keep up with that? And what are the limitations? Are there any kind of a challenges that I need to be aware of? So you see here, this is the year chart, and 1511, 1610, 1709. We talked about the releases. Current active releases 2020, 2021 will be released in the next quarter. Okay, the last quarter of this year. So each product, there is a, you can see the triangle here. The triangle actually means it's a feature pack stack. Feature pack stack is basically innovations, certain number of innovations and new functionalities delivered for each of the release. So take an example of this 1709, this release 1709 FPS1, FPS2, 1809 FPS1, FPS2. It is like a mini upgrade of that particular release. Okay, new functionalities come. It is also like a technical upgrade, plus some of the new functions will come into the product. So that is a feature pack stack release. As you can see, every product, they release the feature pack stack for the first year only. Okay, because the approach is that the new release will come in, all the functionalities will be, additional functionalities will be delivered through the new release only. So there are certain functionalities delivered through feature pack stack in the first year, and subsequently the next product release will happen and the new functionalities are available there. Support pack stacks, just like ECC, many fixes, bug fixes, performance improvements, minor enhancements, or minor functional improvements are provided as part of the support pack stacks. So this will continue. Typically, this frequency will change maybe 2-3 times in a year, and it will continue until the end of maintenance. So when we say end of maintenance, basically for each release, SAP has got a maintenance cycle. That means the maintenance of this support for this version will stop. 1511 already stopped. Okay, support is stopped on December 31st, 2020. 1610 is going to be stopped in terms of support on December 2021. Same way, each release will be stopped in the subsequent year, which means that you can continue to use the product, but you are not going to get any fixes. You will not get any further improvements on the product. Okay, no more support packages available for 1511. Okay, it is like using ECC6 without any enhancement pack. You don't get any support, but you would still be able to use it with whatever limitation that you have, with any kind of a kind of a drawbacks or whatever is currently on. It just like keep the lights on going. So that is okay for a certain time, but what do you need to look at when you want to go further beyond this? Okay, so there may be customers who are on 1511. It is time for them to go into the next release, because you are not, sorry, not the next release, the recent release, because you are missing out on a lot of functionalities that are delivered in the new versions and all the innovations that are available. That is the first one. Second is because there is no support. If you hit any kind of a problem, you will need to do the extended maintenance, which means you're going to pay more in terms of cost. And also, it is not guaranteed that you will get the same functionality fixes that are required for the older versions. So that is what it means, the maintenance strategy. So customers in 1511 and 1610, it is time that if you're not thought about upgrade, you need to actually think about the upgrade and start working on it, so that you will be able to aligned to the SAP's release strategy. So you can go to 2020 now, okay, and then maybe if you're considering towards the end of the year, it can be 2021. There will be certain kind of a prerequisites need to be verified as well, that we will also talk about in this session. So I hope this gives an overview of what is the release strategy and how the product releases are maintained. So we talked about the releases 1610, 1709, 1809, etc. What really changes in them? We talked about enhancements, we talked about innovations, etc. So in terms of the uh, improvements, primarily you get new functionalities. It could be within the existing modules. There are a lot of new functionalities that are delivered, which are not available in the previous release. New components are added. Like for example, transportation management is one component which was added, right? Extended warehouse management, which was added in a particular release. Like that, each release may come up with a new component which is added to the S4 HANA core product. Enhanced functionalities. So what is existing can be enhanced, can be improved, can be simplified, and also optimized. Innovations, again, changes to business process, changes to the way in which the business process are used, and certain level of automation and certain level of simplification. So those are available through innovations. Okay, how to kind of get the business KPIs improved. So those kind of things are available in the innovations part. Last but not the least, technology enhancements and um, the architectural changes that can happen. So with each new release, it also might bring in certain requirements to have higher, let's say, capabilities of your HANA database and also the Fiori UX. Fiori UX is one of the most important component because most of the innovations are delivered through Fiori only. No longer they keep updating the SAP GUI transaction codes. Okay, many times the codes are replaced by Fiori UX, new apps that are available. So here we just called out some of the things here. New functionalities, new components, obsolete functionalities are removed and replaced. Okay, so these are certain things that we need to understand when we talk about a new release. And one of the things that you need to be also aware of is compatibility packs. Okay, this date SAP basically has fixed as 2025, but there is some new information that they may extend it for some more time. But what it really means is compatibility packs are basically functionalities of ECC. They are replicated as it is in the S4 HANA system. There will be no improvement. There will be no innovations available on this. Some examples are like HCM, HR related functionalities. So SAP has not improved much on the S4 HANA part, though there is in the recent versions they've just improved a little bit. So like that, there are compatibility packs which will not be upgraded, which will not be improved. Okay, so these things also will become a bottleneck if you are continuing to use your old versions in the with the compatibility packs. Okay, so this is just to highlight what are the kind of features that we can expect when we are talking about new versions of S4 HANA. So we talked about functionalities and we talked about components. This is a slide which actually highlights some of the things that are basically made available in each of the releases. Like for example, new functionalities or new components which are added to the releases. So you can see here 1511, 1610, 1709, 1809, 1909. So each of these come with certain new functionalities. For example, if you're using 1511, these were the initial functionalities available, introduced along with the core S4. Advanced ATP was available from 1610. It was not available in the previous release. Like that, you have variant configuration, okay, PPM and things like that, which was introduced in 1709. Like that, each version has its own improved functionalities or new functionalities that are added to the component. And on the technology layer, you can see here, we have ABAP CDS views, which are introduced here, and then intelligent technologies. In between, we had what is called as HANA Live for reporting. That is actually kind of eliminated in the future releases. And of course, beyond a certain release, They also have started supporting the hyperscalers. You can install your S4 HANA systems in cloud services like Azure, AWS, Google, etc. Okay, and also one more thing is that there are a lot of other connected components which you may have. Okay, for example, you may have this S4 HANA and SRM, you may have SCM and few other components. So over a period of time, in certain releases, SAP also brings in certain functionality from SCM into this, from SRM into this central procurement kind of. So you also have an opportunity to integrate some functionality into S4 HANA and eliminate some of the external systems, additional systems like SRM, CRM, etc. So those are another level of opportunity for you to integrate and optimize your landscape. Okay, so this is about the functionalities. Technical stack is also an important topic because as the uh, version gets improved, as the version gets upgraded, as the functionalities get increased, right? The technology also keeps changing, the underlying technology. One is the HANA database. So there is a version of HANA database which is mandatory for running certain versions of the S4 HANA system. So this will be a technical dependency from the architecture. It also brings in certain new functionalities like multiple things and then code push down and things like that, improved features. And the NetWeaver stack, which is the underlying stack, okay, that is also getting improved as and when the new release of S4 HANA is being done. And this is the third layer, S4 core, which brings in the core functionality of all your applications, all the modules, all the components that are delivered through the S4 core predominantly. Then one other important factor from a technical point of view, Fiori front-end server. Fiori front-end server is one of the important components because that is the one which enables the new UX, Fiori UX, and all the functionalities delivered through Fiori UX. So this technology also keeps upgrading. The Fiori version keeps upgrading. So if you want to leverage certain new functionalities, you are not able to do that in the older version of Fiori. You need to upgrade your system to the later versions. So this can become a kind of one of the dependencies that you need to consider. So if you are still on 1511, you want to go into 1909, 2020 or 2021, you need to look at those dependencies and what it requires to change your front-end server to the latest one. Okay, and then Fiori for S4 HANA. Again, this is dependent on the version. So this is also one compatibility related thing that we need to remember. So this is about the technical. So we talked about functional. There are new functionalities introduced. There are new modules introduced. There are new components which are introduced and innovations, right? And at technical layer, there is a dependency on the database. There is a dependency on the platform and also on the UX layer. So these are the things that you need to understand when you're talking about an upgrade. Okay, when I want to upgrade my S4 HANA system, these are the areas that we need to look at, which will have some dependency or impact. So why should we upgrade? We talked about all the functionalities, etc., etc. So what is the real motivation for the upgrade? We talked about the release strategy. From an IT perspective, if you look at it, first thing is align with SAP release and maintenance strategy. So if your product is out of support, you may have some challenges in getting the fixes. Okay, patching, those things are not possible. New functionalities are not available. You are still going to use your old releases. Leverage new technology features. We just talked about new UX and other types of things. So from an IT perspective, this is one of the, or these two are the most kind of most frequent things that are looked at. Benefits. From an application standpoint, leverage new functionalities and enhancements. So whenever you upgrade, those functionalities are available in your system. So you decide which ones to enable and which ones to use. This is second part is very important. Return to standard opportunity and how you can simplify your system. Just like the ECC world, many of you who would have been running your ECC for several years, Okay, the older releases, if there is a limitation in a functionality, the workaround is to create a custom code and deliver the functionality with some customization and custom code. So as it goes over a period of years, it becomes difficult because the system has been modified to a large extent. When you want to upgrade, you have to look at a lot of custom objects which need to be uh, rectified, remediated, etc., to make it work in the target release. Second, it also does not give you a very high efficiency. The process may not be so efficient, etc. So that is the second part. The third part is typically most of the newer versions may come with the functionality which you did not have in the old one. Because you did not have in the old one, you developed a custom. So you can have the opportunity of bringing it to a new standard functionality available in the new release. So we also call it as a simplify, or you can return to standard. It could be from a custom code perspective. It could be from a customization as a, or a business process perspective. And of course, leverage the innovations, certain automations and any other innovation opportunities. From a business side, okay, reduce cost of maintenance and TCO, okay, from a business meaning both from a business and management perspective, and also enhanced user experience. So these two are the key takeaways from doing an upgrade to a higher release. So these are the reasons why you should look at upgrade. First thing is because of the release strategy going out of support. As I mentioned, 15.11 is already out of support. 16.10 is going to be out of support this year. Okay, customers who are on that will need to think about, and 17.09 also. The reason is one is the support. Second is you may be far behind on some of the available functionalities, which you can look at. Okay, so when we talk about upgrade, what are the ways in which we can upgrade? First thing is, I have a kind of a challenge in my company. It is deployed for across the globe. It is deployed for several business units. It is deployed for lot of areas of applications, and also there is a lot of changes done in my system. So for me to do a complete upgrade, including new functionality, sometimes may be difficult to get a buy-in, or also sometimes my current system is not ready from a dependency perspective, from a impact or a compatibility perspective, it is not ready. So in those kind of cases, if you want to quickly make yourself ready for the deployment of new functionality, you can look at a technical upgrade. So you upgrade your system, you basically use what is currently available today. You get some of the low hanging fruits which are by default enabled, but new functionality you want to deploy it as a continuous project. You want to do it in every small releases, or you want to do it in a phased manner. So that's a technical upgrade. You only upgrade your system without making much changes to the business functionality. That means you are able to deliver it without impacting your business quickly. Okay, that is one of the technical upgrade approaches. Functional upgrade, yes, I am doing technical upgrade. At the same time, I also want to leverage the new functionalities. Okay, maybe a part of it, again, I can have a phased manner, but in the first phase, I want to start with certain enhanced functionalities. So this is more driven by business, because their participation will be required to understand what functionalities will meet the requirements, what functionalities are changing, and things like that. Okay, this is on the functional upgrade side. Upgrade plus integration, like I talked about external products, CRM, SRM, etc. If you want to bring in some of the available functionality in S4 HANA, you can do that. There are new components which are introduced in the latest version. If you have installed without activating it, you want to leverage that feature, it is called integration. So I can embed some of the functionalities, okay, which are coming new in the component in the version, and then I can make it available. So it will be you both a technical plus a business approach. So these are the ways in which I can upgrade. Depending on your scenarios, you can decide what is the best fit for you. You don't have to wait. If you wait for another 2 years, doing an upgrade may become more difficult for you. So you want to at least go in a phased manner and then start with technical upgrade, or functional upgrade with certain minimum nice to have features to start with, or basic features, and then you want to slowly roll out the additional functionalities. Or if you want to leverage some of the new features, you can look at integration. So what are the differences? As I mentioned, upgrade to higher release with mandatory changes incorporated. So whatever is mandatory for the new release, that will be made available as part of the technical upgrade. So business functionality with minimal or no changes. So this is also important in a technical upgrade so that people continue to use. They are on the newer release and rolling out new functionalities become easier. Okay. Defer new or improved functionalities for future. Future may be your own roadmap, maybe quarters, it may be year, whatever it is. And get ready for functional upgrade and leverage additional business value. So this is important. So there may be a need for you to upgrade in order for you to start using the new functionalities. Okay, that can be a prerequisite. Prepare for continuous improvement and innovation. That's of course a given. Once you get the newer release, you have the flexibility to leverage the innovation and make continuous improvements. So in terms of timeline, it is much shorter. It doesn't really have to involve business for a lot of changes. Okay, no detailed blueprinting will be required. Of course, there will be a blueprinting required, but it will be limited. IT driven and maintenance strategy driven, and also support alignment with SAP. Functional upgrade to a higher release, and also take advantage of new functionality. So you do a technical upgrade to a higher version and also leverage, enable new functionalities that are coming in the target release. So again, this is what we talked about here. Additional scope, new functionality, enhancements, standardization as much as possible, innovations, and integrate new functionalities. Sorry. So it may have a slightly longer project timeline compared to the technical upgrade because you have to do a lot of impact analysis on the business and perform this. Business driven and also realize additional business value. So these are the two scenarios that you need to look at from an upgrade perspective. So what kind of resources are available? SAP has got a proven methodology, Activate methodology. Those who have, if you have gone through a implementation cycle, or maybe you have converted, you would know that Activate methodology is a kind of a best practices approach which SAP provides. Also, there are tools available to do your project more efficiently. And then we have roadmaps. Very recently, SAP also introduced what is called as S4HANA upgrade roadmaps. I'll just show you some details about it in the coming slides. You can review the best practices approach and how to use the Activate. So it also applies to upgrades. It is not just for implementation or conversion, as some people might think. Simplification check and readiness check. In case you have done a conversion, simplification check would have been done, where you see the difference between ECC and the target S4HANA release. Even for a version upgrade, there will be certain amount of simplifications because each release of SAP S4HANA, new simplifications are delivered. So if you're on 15.11 and if you're going to 2020, you will actually have certain simplifications which are available, which you can leverage. Okay, which may be mandatory, which may be good to have. So that need to be evaluated. And readiness check is another thing, which will tell you whether add-ons are compatible, whether your technical system is compatible, etc. So these are tools available, just like any other conversion project. We can still use it for upgrade projects. There are new things like Pathfinder, process discovery, etc., which will give you what are the functionalities available in the target release compared to your current release. What are the things that you can leverage? Which ones will give you more benefit? So those are the kind of things that you can identify with the help of Pathfinder report. So these are some tools which can help you in your initial preparation phase to identify, get a business case, and also to ensure that your system is ready, or do you need to take some preparation steps before getting into the project. So the Activate phases, S4HANA upgrade, the phases are same like prepare, explore, realize, deploy. Of course, we have the discover phase before you get into the actual project. So this is again a critical phase, just like your conversion project. Discover is also important. You need to analyze your system, whether it's compatible, prerequisites are met, dependencies are met or not, dependencies are identified. Any kind of a housekeeping, like, kind of a custom code cleanup and things like that you can do. Impacted areas you can analyze. So it's kind of, similar to your conversion, but to a smaller extent. Okay, but most of those concepts still work here, and we have to do analysis in order to make sure that your upgrade project will be smooth. So spend a good amount of time here to ensure that your preparation is smooth, and then you will be able to move forward without any kind of a bottlenecks. Of course, the recommended landscape that you need to follow, which most of you will be having. So this is the Activate roadmap which I was talking about. There are two roadmaps. One is called as a technical upgrade roadmap. Second is a functional upgrade roadmap. Okay, so you can see in this technical upgrade roadmap, in the phases, explore phase, realize phase, the activities are limited. It only lists the key work packages and activities. You see here, custom code is one of the important things. And then basically your infrastructure preparation, your copies, and then execution. So the number of activities you need to do are lesser in technical upgrade. In a functional upgrade, you have to do a lot of things, identifying the gaps, okay, aligning and doing a lot of work, including a lot of test strategy you need to do for end to end. So these are kind of accelerators that are available, which we can kind of use it as a guidance for the project preparation and execution. Dependencies for upgrade, hardware and performance. So when we go for a higher release, you may want to take advantage of new functionalities. You need to look at your capacity, etc., and how is the performance today. Then you have complex environment, maybe interfaces. If you are doing more changes to the business process or things like that, you need to also look at what is the impact on the interfaces. Adapting functional changes and improvements. This is one important thing. How do you make use of it in the target release? Custom code and data. This is also very important. We need to look at custom code impact and how it can be remediated to make sure it works in the target release, because functionalities will change, tables will change, and things like that. So we need to adapt them. Data volume also can be an issue. You can look at archiving and things like that. Of course, it's not as big a deal as a conversion, but still it will help you to optimize your infrastructure footprint. Upgrade approach. Do you want to do a technical or a functional upgrade? That again depends on your source system and your target release that you're looking at and all those dependencies. Project time and cost. Okay, again, this is one important thing. How much of downtime I can afford? Is it a major upgrade? Okay, is it a kind of a lot of functionalities coming in? So what you need to do is you need to assess and perform your upgrade in a very systematic manner. So you need to do a lot of iterations to ensure that your target is uh, as expected, okay, in terms of the results. So what are the things? Timeline, what is the effort, what kind of a cost does it involve, and what is the risk involved? The risk is basically how smooth my upgraded system will be available to the business. Preparation areas, again, these are similar to what we do for conversion. Okay, tools are available. You need to look at all these hardware, custom code, application components, etc. Simplification check is one tool. Functionality available, custom code analysis, and business process change and other things. So tools are available like readiness check, early watch reports, solution manager, simplification, etc., and then ABAP test. Fury apps library is one important thing because it can give you indication about what are all the new Fury apps available in the target release. Many customers, when they upgrade from the ECC to S4 HANA, the normal tendency is that, hey, our users have been using ECC for last 15 years. They are all used to the GUI strategy. So we will start with the GUI strategy. We will only take 10% of the Fury apps which are mandatory. Then we'll slowly start rolling out more Fury apps. But that process never reaches an optimum level. So you may have a lot of limitations. When you go for new release, you can look at what are all the new Fury apps available, what are all the enhancements, and what you can actually start leveraging. This will be a good opportunity to actually enhance your utilization based on Fiori apps rather than using the same old transaction codes. Simplification list. Again, this is a feature available where you can go and look at what is my source version, what is my target release. It will give you what are all the simplification items relevant by module, by functionality, and other things we can choose, and we can identify what are relevant to my release. So you can also run a report in your system which will tell you what are all the simplification items that are mandatory for us to take care of. It will help you to plan your upgrade smoother and also identify the impacted areas and the kind of skills and efforts required. So from a preparation, we talked about what is an upgrade, what are the impact, what you get new in the higher releases, what changes take place. We also talked about technology architecture, and we also talked about dependencies for the upgrade. Either it can be in custom code, it can be in kind of a data, it can be in the business processes, customization, etc. So how do you prepare? How do I make sure that I spend a certain amount of time, decent time in preparing for the upgrade, so that I will be able to eliminate a lot of hiccups, a lot of bottlenecks when I start my upgrade project. So the first thing that we need to look at is validate version. That means your source version and what is the intended target version. Look at the components available, look at the functionalities available, the kind of resources I told you, or providing there are resources available to give you information on what are the new component, new functionalities, and new modules available in each of the releases. Check the environment readiness is one important thing, whether your system is ready, your platform is ready, your database, okay, your Fiori front-end server. For example, people who are using 15.11 or 16.10, you may still be using a Fiori front-end server in a separate box, not on the S4 HANA system. But as a strategy, SAP from 1909 onwards, they have moved on to the embedded Fiori uh, design. So as an architecture, when you go for a 1909 or 2020, you will be prompted to go in for a embedded Fiori deployment. So you can also check that. You can leverage. You need to take care of certain infrastructure related things also there. So check your environment readiness, the versions, components, compatibility, etc. Evaluate simplification item check and fixes. So this is again dependent on your source version and target version. The number of simplification items may differ. If the gap is small, if you are on 1809, the number of simplifications to 2020 may be lesser. If you are on 1511, you want to go to 2020, the simplification item, the catalog list will be higher. That means more number of items you need to fix. Okay. Analyze custom code and remove waste. It again is specific to your environment. Typically, many customers will have a lot of custom code, and many times if you have done a conversion from ECC to S4 HANA, the kind of a thought process is that, hey, I will make everything work as it is. Improvements, performance or logic, all those things I will look at it later. So those can again become a bottleneck because it becomes difficult for you to maintain and upgrade those kind of code. So you can look at what is the impact, and you can also remove unused code. You can remove code that can be brought back to standard functionality. Assess new functionalities and innovations. Of course, we talked about the kind of reports available and the process discovery, etc. You can identify what are the newly delivered innovations and functionalities. Application integration, again, it could be interfaces or it could be a new component you're trying to bring in from SRM, you're trying in central procurement activate in the S4 HANA system. So what is that you need to take care of in that perspective? And are you looking at a technical or a functional upgrade? It depends on your scenario. So you want to first start with a technical upgrade, and then after 6 months or a year, you want to move on to functional upgrade with preparation. So these are the kind of things that you need to look at from a best practices in order to prepare your environment. So what do we recommend? Plan very much in advance. Just like a conversion project, of course, it doesn't have so much of a complexity like a conversion, but it will still have a certain level of impact for an upgrade. Okay, so do a POC in a sandbox. First thing is assessment workshop. Identify some of the critical areas and dependencies and things like that, what need to be taken care. Identify what is suitable for you, so we can do that in a assessment workshop. Once you do that, you do a POC in a sandbox to validate it. Best practice recommendations you follow, like what things can be leveraged and what can be improved. Housekeeping in production, you can do that. It could be certain cleanup or it could be certain data related activities. So how Kelton can help? We talked about all these, why we should upgrade, what is the, what is the kind of benefit of upgrade, and how we can upgrade. Those things we discussed. Kelton as a company, we can assist you in preparation. We have an assessment and advisory service. So discovery is one of the most important things where we can help you with analyzing your current environment, identifying dependencies, identifying what are the opportunities for you to do the upgrade. And also we can analyze whether a technical upgrade will be suitable or a functional upgrade will be suitable. So that we can do as part of discovery. And we will, once we collect the information, we will analyze it, analyze the complexity, dependency, business criticality, and application readiness and technical readiness. Okay, so this will also give us a kind of insight into what is more suitable for you, what kind of a roadmap you can choose. Categorize. Okay, you have certain things which are ready for upgrade, certain things require additional preparation, which are not compatible or things like that. There are certain complex things which may require further evaluation, which also we can identify and categorize. And we'll come back with a recommendation. What is the impact assessment? What is going to be the areas of impact and indicative timeline effort we can provide? What kind of best practices can be followed to make it as optimal as possible? And we can also help you with a POC and a roadmap for the upgrade. So what should be your recommended approach for, let's say, which version you should go, what functionalities you need to enable, okay, what kind of a upgrade, whether it's a technical or a functional or a integration type of an upgrade. So this is what we can help you with. We got a lot of experience in this, and we have helped our customers to kind of understand and also prepare in a very seamless manner. So in summary, what we have discussed in this session is upgrade your system on a periodic basis to leverage new functionalities and enhancements. Okay, that period can be dependent on your kind of a strategy, but we just discussed about the release strategy, which will help you to understand what is the SAP's release and maintenance strategy and how you can align your environment with that from a support strategy perspective. Assess the upgrade, prepare in advance, very important. Assess obsolete functionalities and process improvements. This is again important. So all these we can put a weight and then say, okay, this is what will give you more benefits. Custom code simplification and standardization. And then technical upgrade helps in a quicker enablement. If you have a challenge in, because of a lot of people postpone the upgrades because they can't really afford to make business level changes. So at least you can enable this so that you can showcase to the business that, hey, you will be able to you can make more POCs and you'll be able to make them understand what are the new things that will be available. So functional upgrade, it requires more planning and business involvement, which you can do also as an outcome of the technical upgrade. And identify the scope and roadmap. What are the functionalities that you want to, and then identify risks and mitigation. Okay, so these are the kind of things that we discussed. So we talked about what is the S4 HANA product, what are the features coming up in the releases, what kind of changes that happen from a technology perspective and from an application perspective. Also, we talked about the approaches, the type of upgrades, technical versus functional upgrade, and the resources available for us, like the roadmaps and the kind of a process discovery reports and things like that, and what are the dependencies that you need to look at. So this will really help you to kind of prepare for your upgrade. Also, you will be able to build a business case based on this, saying that, hey, upgrade is really needed for these reasons, and we can definitely achieve it without really having a lot of cost as well as a lot of impact. Okay, and as I mentioned, Kelton as a company, we can help you with the assessment and also prepare and execute the upgrades seamlessly. So I hope the session gave you some good insights on the S4 HANA upgrade part, and we will be more than happy to kind of engage with you on any specific discussions that you would like to have. It could be specific to your scenario or any other questions that you would like to kind of understand. So I'll open up for QA at the moment. Any questions, we can take it. And I would request Dr. Bundy if he would like to add a few.
Yeah, thanks, Ramesh. I appreciate that. Yeah, so a couple of questions. One, typically there is a perception that we should always go one version level, down from a upgrade point of view. Yes, the popular decision is n-1, but when it comes to S4 HANA, that is not the appropriate one, basically because Ramesh already covered, saying that the current version and the earlier two versions will be available. As a result, even if we plan to upgrade from an older version of SAP S4 HANA to n-1, you are definitely losing a lot of time. B, you will be losing certain functionalities because now S4 HANA is much stabler one. And I know when we've started doing the first implementation as an enterprise management solution, 1511, I know a couple of customers still on 1511, and recently we initiated an upgrade related assessment and all that. So we all know that customers on the older version continue to stay there for a while and they realize a bit late. So therefore, it's pertinent to look at the latest version, basically because it saves a lot of energy, time, costs at a later point in time, and the old perception of n-1 may not really hold good, and we have seen people leveraging the best of the functionalities, be it in terms of Fury apps, analytics, more cloud independent solutions. And even if you look at today, the cloud platform solutions or business technology platform solutions, whichever is the name, there is always a possibility. Apart from that, certain functionalities that we have showcased as part of the functionalities that have been built over a period of time as part of the evolution of S4 HANA as a ERP, be it transport management, be it advanced availability to promise and all that. So obviously there is a possibility. The second one is that, it's no more a technical upgrade. Technical upgrade can happen in terms of application of patches, application of support packs and all that. But it's always better to have the standard functionalities, embracing the standards that have been built over a period of time. That will help in the process of upgrade. And involving the business from time to time is also important because it's a continuous innovation phase, and most of the organizations are on the growth phase and they would like to embrace it. And in the process, if you see, over a period of time from enterprise management to intelligent enterprise, you find a lot of opportunities to leverage machine language algorithms, certain automation, robotic process automation, and also certain other functionalities that can be looked at, even integration with the industrial IoT or a typical IoT and all that. So these are some of the things which we can look at it. I think we'll stop here.
Yep, I think that's the time we have for today. So Dr. Bundy and Ramesh, thank you so much for this insightful session. For the audience, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to email us by responding to the email address on your webinar invite, and we will respond to you promptly. As I mentioned earlier, we will be sending out the recorded version of this webinar in the next few days. If you would like to start any new conversations, please email us at ask@keltentech.com or visit our website at www.keltentech.com. Thank you again all for joining us. You have been a fantastic audience. Bye-bye and have a good day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.